Supreme Court lifts hold in Texas law letting police arrest migrants who illegally enter United States. Cool, 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 cool. Do we actually have a relevant video at the top of a news article for once?
But that's likely not the final word on this issue.
Fox 4's Dan Godwin live to explain. Dan?
Well, Lauren, as Brandon alluded to, this latest order from the Supreme Court is not going to be the last of the battle over this Texas law, but
this guy a
opponents are
robot?
savoring what is at least a temporary victory for them. On Monday, the nation's highest court extended a stay against SB4 indefinitely. The order from Justice Samuel Alito means the controversial law cannot go into effect while legal challenges to it make their way through the court system. SB4 allows any law enforcement officer in the state to arrest anyone suspected of entering the country illegally. They would then go before a judge to face the possibility of jail time here or be given the option to return to a border crossing. The state representative who carried SB4 in the
I'm sorry, what was that? What is this advanced police detainment tactic of wrapping a metal chain around their belly like you're about to like hitch all of them to a cart?
Representative who carried SB4 in the Texas House is confident the law will eventually be upheld.
I think it'll create change and it will act as a deterrent to illegal immigration. We're not against immigration, we're only against illegal immigration. SB4 only addresses illegal immigration. It's badly needed.
And we applaud the Supreme Court of the United States for blocking this law, which we knew that was discriminatory, was unconstitutional.
Opponents of SB4, like Mesquite Representative Victoria Niave Criado, say it mirrors an Arizona law known as the Show Me Your Papers law, the heart of which was struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court as unconstitutional. Supporters of the law believe the nation's high court could be waiting for the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to hear oral arguments on SB4. That hearing is scheduled for April 3rd. Whatever happens there will be appealed again.
Nice, great. Love our appeal process. Nothing ever happens. Today, the court invites further chaos and crisis in immigration enforcement. Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote in dissent, joined by Justice Kentucky Brown Jackson. Texas now immediately enforces the law imposing criminal liability on thousands of non-citizens, requiring their removal in Mexico. Separate dissent. Law flatly inconsistent with the court's past decisions, which recognize the power to admit and remove non-citizens lies solely with the federal government, the department told the Supreme Court. Yeah, that to me is the wild thing. Like, obviously, Texas wanting to do some kind of big deportation thing, like, that's one thing, but the process of removing people from the country has historically been the purview of the federal government, you know? Like, that's federal government business. So Texas is being given permission by the Supreme Court to just do its own thing in contradiction of federal law. That's cool. They're trying to force migrants to other states. Well, they're trying to force migrants back to Mexico. And Mexico has said that it will not accept deportations from Texas. So Mexico's top diplomat for North America rejected the Supreme Court's ruling, saying immigration policy was something to be negotiated between federal governments. Yeah, like, think about it. Texas doesn't have a diplomat in Mexico. America can communicate with Mexico. Mexico can't really communicate with Texas, not in the same way. It's not a nation, you know? It doesn't work that way. They don't have ambassadors. There's not an embassy. Yeah, having a state do immigration law is insane. Mexico will not accept deportations made by Texas under any circumstances, the country's foreign ministry said on Tuesday in response to the Supreme Court decision to allow Texas to arrest immigrants across the state without... Woo! Is there going to be more people calling for secession? Republicans are interested in cooing the entire country, not just leaving with Texas. What happens when Mexico closes their borders to us? They can't. Mexico doesn't have the resources to secure their entire border with us. It's not like Mexico likes the fact that a bunch of people, like, flood through them to go over into America, violate human rights, generate hostile environments for more than 10 million people of Mexican origin living in Texas. I think that the Republicans should make Texas blue by being personally racist to every single Mexican in Texas, you know? I think that Texan state officials should go up to every Mexican in the state and say, like, hey, hombre, show me your papers. You're not some kind of illegal Mexican alien invader, are you? And then all of them vote blue, and we get like a 60-40 split, and Texas goes blue, and everything is right. Oh yeah, I saw this. Texans' Social Security in question if state secedes. It's not going to secede. Only Texans believe it can. If we secede, do we still get our Social Security monthly checks? One user wrote in a Texas Patriots for Secession Facebook group. According to Social Security experts, the answer to that question is a bit complicated. It's not. It's not. It's really not. If Texas seceded from the United States, which won't happen, but if it did, if they did, no, the United States federal government would not continue to hand out payments. I'm really sorry, they wouldn't. They would simply stop. If Texas isn't a part of the U.S. anymore, it'll need to figure out a new way to help these people, Michael Ryan, a finance expert who runs MichaelRyanMoney.com, told Newsweek. This is a big job, and Texas will have to be really smart about how it handles its money to make this work. Huh, well, I guess that's true. Brexit type thinking is so common. Have your cake and eat it too type shit. Yeah, literally, you know, like I want, like, we should Brexit, but also why is stuff imported from Europe getting more expensive? Hello? Well, thank you for the write-up, Newsweek. While Mexico has served as the U.S.'s immigration enforcer, often discouraging migrants from massing at the border, the country has also publicly pushed for two key policies to address the root causes that force people out of their home countries, such as poverty, violence, inequity, and climate change, and expand regular pathways for migration. Well, that's nice. Last week, President Andrés Manuel López Obrador of Mexico said his administration was proposing that the Biden administration give legal status to at least 5 million undocumented Mexicans living and working in the United States. We should do that. I agree. He also called on the U.S. to suspend sanctions against Venezuela and lift the blockade against Cuba, saying that such measures would reduce migrant flows from those countries. That is true. I say they come crawling back after winter when their power grid explodes after 2 days. Yeah, they haven't done a very good job divesting. Yeah, child of the gods. No, it's the idea that Texas can secede is still a very pervasive myth. You know, people genuinely believe this. I remember being taught when I was a kid, you know, that Texas could do that because it was a provision in its constitution as a state. It's not. But I was just told that. Even Quebec has a better chance of succeeding. Probably. I mean, secession is illegal and would be functionally an act of war. So I guess it's really just, can Quebec hold itself off from the rest of Canada more effectively than Texas can the rest of America? I don't want Quebec, Tanky Annihilator. Nobody wants Quebec. I'm unfortunately Texan, and it's genuinely so concerning how crazy some of the common beliefs in that regard here are. Yeah, well, national mythology, or I guess state mythology, you know, in this case. But wouldn't a secession allow the U.S. to reconquer and turn Texas blue? Yeah, that would probably be the functional outcome of secession. It would basically just be like, oh, okay, so Texas is now a foreign country and land that we consider ours. How'd that work out last time, you know? What happened the last time America wanted to make the landmass known as Texas part of America, you know? Like what? It's just, there's literally historical precedent for this. It has oil too. It's true, it does have oil. Texas is famous for having oil.